Hello everyone. With each passing year, you may feel like there's more and more to memorize. How do you do it? How do you learn all of the things you're expected to know? In a word, mnemonics. Unfortunately, I'm not referring to tools I think would have served Keanu Reeves well in his film Johnny Mnemonic. Because, while interesting, that won't help you pass AP Bio, or anything else for that matter. Let's start at the beginning. What are mnemonics? They're techniques that help you remember a piece of information. Think of them like a mental shortcut. You can use a mnemonic device as a way to trick your brain into memorizing important facts that you'll need to recall later. And this is precisely what makes them a great study tool. They're spelled unintuitively, M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C, which has that silent M at the beginning. And a mnemonic, for remembering the spelling of mnemonic, is to call it an M and N, which is memorable because it sounds a whole lot like a very popular candy. That's one example of a mnemonic. Another, one of my personal favorites, is the acronym. That reveal would have been more exciting with a drum roll. One of my personal favorites is the acronym. As you likely already know, an acronym is a word that you can form from the first letters of other words. Here's how you can use acronyms as mnemonic devices. Let's consider the Great Lakes, which just happened to be my favorite series of 5 interconnected freshwater lakes that can be found on the border between the United States and Canada. The 5 Great Lakes consist of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Superior. Now, even though I have stated my deep appreciation for these lakes, I find it hard to remember all 5. Sure, I'd remember Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, not so much Lake Huron and Lake Superior, and it's touch and go with Lake Michigan. One way to make sure I remember all 5 is by using a mnemonic, the acronym HOLMES. HOLMES is an acronym derived from the names of the lakes. The H is from Huron, the O from Ontario, the M from Michigan, the E from Erie, and the S is from Superior. That acronym gives me just enough information to jog my memory and help me recall all 5 of those indeed Great Lakes. Here's another example. The acronym PEN can help you remember the parts of an atom: proton, electron, and neutron. If you're studying the color spectrum, you'll want to remember my dear friend, Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. A variation on the acronym is the acrostic, a sentence or phrase that's created from the first letters of the information you're trying to recall. Here's an example of one that's sure to come in handy if you're taking a music class. To remember the order of the line notes in Treble Clef, there's the old-fashioned sentence, "Every good boy does fine." If you've taken high school math, you're probably well acquainted with PEMDAS, which usually gets the acrostic treatment as "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." That's meant to help you remember the order of operations: parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And it's easier to remember than the operations on their own. When it comes down to it, you can think of these acronyms and acrostics as wonderful cheat sheets for your brain. It's often much easier to recall a sentence like "every good boy does fine" than the seemingly random collection of letters E, G, B, D, and F. And the mnemonic device can both trigger and strengthen your memory. It may seem counterintuitive that learning additional information helps you remember new facts, but it works. You're building scaffolding for your brain and strengthening your memories of those new concepts. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more tips, tricks, and strategies for remembering all the things you need to know. See you here next time.